Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, reach out to me directly, tmosso at thewatchbox.com. That email address is your direct purchase and pricing question line for help with any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. It's in the description below. Reach out to me directly, tmosso at thewatchbox.com. Today, we are discussing a compact, handsome, legible, function-rich, refinement-rich product of Sinn of Frankfurt, Germany. Sinn Spezialeren creating this 756 UTC Duochronograph for the discerning collector who wants a watch that's near indestructible, modestly sized, traditionally sized, legible, and ultimately gives them the most for their money. In profile, this 40mm watch is 14.1 millimeters thick, 47 millimeters from lug to lug, and 20 millimeters between the lugs. On my wrist, 16 centimeters in circumference. This watch, which is so rife with features, is actually quite compact in dimensions. As you can see, it's nowhere near the edge of my wrist in this down the barrel shot. Again, nowhere near the edge of my wrist in this over the top. And the cuff shot shows that, well, it won't fit underneath the tightest dress cuffs. You should be okay with most sleeves, including jackets. I can recommend it for a wrist as small as 13 centimeters circumference. So if you have a taste for discretion in your pilot's watches or a classical, more traditional size in your aviator's complication, this is the answer. The strap is handsome, and it's exactly what you would expect on a pilot's watch. It is calfskin on the top and the bottom with a contrasting stitch and a lot of bolstering. This is a thick piece of leather. You can see it has a sheer-sided construction showing you the layers of leather and then plenty of bolstering or stuffing to add volume and the feeling of substance and solidity. It is a brand new Sinn factory strap that is also calfskin on the bottom, and you can see that the buckle, like the case, is a satin finished sheen. It glows warmly rather than shining brightly. It is subtle, like so much of this watch. The timepiece has a few well-chosen character lines that articulate the case band. You can see that the bezel is stepped in slightly. The lugs for such a utilitarian watch are elegantly tapered to a degree I did not expect, and they are blended into the case, so they're not stepped out like, for example, the Sinn Easy M1 or 1.1. This is a much more fluid form. You can see everything is media blasted, and the case is tegmented, which is a Sinn proprietary technology that essentially increases the surface of the metal to over 1,200 Vickers, meaning on the surface it's about as hard as ceramic, but unlike ceramic, it can't fracture, it cannot chip. And I can tell you, having worn this watch with tegmented steel for 3 years, there is nary a mark on it that isn't simply a dollop of crud. So this is an exceptionally effective method of making your watch ageless. Now, the timepiece also has a wonderful double facet bezel that's vertical, and then it actually has an inward angular cant. The crown has a small sheer guard flank on each side, and it is a screw down crown. The watch is 200 meters water resistant. The pushers are actually tightly sleeved. Sinn calls this the D3 system. It makes them more efficient in their water resistance, but also more resistant to shock that could damage the pusher sleeves internally. D3 braces against that kind of shearing shock. The sapphire caps a dial that is no-nonsense aviator's fashion. You have quarter Arabics, white on black print, a matte dial base, and then you have both a chronograph and a second time zone. There's also a date hidden in there. Now, the watch has quite a lot of stolid sobriety about its dial, but you can see it's also got a bit of a wry smile in the use of that signal green for the UTC logo as well as the skeletonized second time zone. Now, if you're not into that second time zone or you don't need it for the time being, you can always hide it under the local hours, so you can clean up the dial quite quickly. It also has a feature that I love, and this is too rare on GMT style watches and second time zone watches, where you actually have a proper quick set for the date in addition to the ability to rapidly set that second time zone. Think about the Rolex GMT Master. You realize you have to spin the local hand, the local hour time to drive the local date. That is not a problem here. One more refinement, in addition to the quick set in the second time zone, you have hacking or stop seconds. Look carefully, you can see there's a small black lacquered logo next to UTC on the dial. That means this watch has a soft iron inner cage, which also means that it is 80,000 ampere per meter anti-magnetic. 80,000 ampere per meter corresponds to 1 Gauss, and this is literally a mil-Gauss watch, so it is anti-magnetic. It is water resistant, and thanks to a very shock resistant 7750 based caliber inside, it is a tank tough movement to go with the tank tough case. And about that case, note between the lugs, SUG. What does that mean? It means Sinn makes its own cases. The tegment technology is theirs, but they're also building the case. You know where else you'll see that logo? On precious metal watches from Alongo und Söhne. for whom Sinn, through SUG, is a case supplier. Now, the movement. Automatic winding with a 46-hour power reserve. It beats away at 8 beats per second. It is a cam-operated lateral clutch chronograph based on the Valjoux 7750 architecture. Unidirectional winding, so you get a little unidirectional rotor wobble, but it's a very efficient winding system that's good at topping up the watch. All you need to know is that it's tough, it's accurate, and it enables the subsidiary functions of the chronograph as well as that second time zone. So this watch is a full-featured bargain from a brand that is known for them. Sinn of Frankfurt. No, it's not IWC, it's not Longines, it's not one of the major names in mainstream horology, but it's one of the best independents going. Reach out to tmosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details. And we're back with the Sinn 756 UTC. A few more fun facts about this watch. You might have noticed that there was a small capsule screwed into the flanks of the lugs. The watch is full of nitrogen, and that little capsule is copper sulfate. So all moisture is discharged from the case with a nitrogen fill at the point of manufacture. The little copper sulfate capsule is then inserted into the flank of the watch, so if any more moisture enters, that capsule will withdraw it. And the watch has special lubricants developed by Sinn that enable it to withstand temperatures as low as -45 centigrade and as high as 80 degrees centigrade. The more you know.